What's up everyone, it's Zariel here and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh 101 discussion video. And in this video I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of people are up in arms about. Some people are pissed off at it. Other people such as myself are looking at them like, why the fuck are you mad? And the topic for this video is going to be, does Stratos need to make a return? People are up in arms because the ban list has been revealed for July to September. And out of all the things that have happened that are great, reinforcement of the army is at 2. Dimensional prison and mirror force have been unlimited now. You can max them out at 3. Uh, um, gear is limited. And out of all cards, out of left field, making a return is even YuGiOh101 is finally making a return, which I explained in that video. I gave my reasons as to why this was a good thing and why I'm kind of glad they did that. It was unexpected, and YuGiOh101 isn't as overpowered as it was when it first came out, because it was ridiculous when it first came out. But now that they're releasing more synchro monsters that are similar to YuGiOh101 and the various other cards that they have in the game, YuGiOh101 isn't a threat as it once was. So they limited it. They brought it back at 1. I think it was a good, thing. But check out that ban list video. You guys can see and hear my full opinions about that. But in this video, this is going to be towards those people that feel like Stratos should have been put on a list, or people that may have felt that, why isn't Stratos back, or should Stratos make a return? And to understand why a card should make a return or why a card is banned, it's 2 things that you have to look at. Whether or not a card gets banned is based on 2 things, and it's all under the same umbrella: common sense. You have the common sense of competition, and then you have Konami, which is the common sense of business. Now, sometimes those lines do get blurred, and for the sake of competition, these business decisions need to be made, and some business decisions need to be made based on competition, because they understand that if one outweighs the other, then they could lose money, and they don't even want to dive into that area even a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's business for you. But the common sense of business is always going to overpower the common sense of competition. Sometimes they give competition a leeway, and they say, okay, well, based on competition, these cards no longer need to be in the game, so we're going to take these cards out. Or for competitive reasons, we're going to take these cards out since they have these other cards coming in the first place. Or, well, there's money in us releasing these cards and or bringing these cards back into the game with either certain limitations on them or no limitations on them, and uh, let's just make our money off of the card real quick, and this is the case with Elemental Hero Stratos. And you have to look at 3 things also on top of the common sense of competition and the common sense of business. There's 3 other things that you have to look at: the monster's effect, its summoning requirements, and is it too, or is it doing too much for the era that it's in? And when it comes to Elemental Hero Stratos, that's exactly what it is. It's a level 4 monster that has an effect of an emergency call, as well as it's also an MST that can destroy multiple spells and traps depending on the number of elemental heroes you have face up on your side of the field. So it's also an MST as well as an emergency call, and that's fine. The factor that came into play, which was the reason why Elemental Hero Stratos had been banned to begin with, was the fact that it's a level 4 monster. Not because it's a warrior, not because it has too many effects, but for a level 4 monster, it does too much. And I often get a lot of shit from people that, truth be told, shouldn't even be qualified to make any type of predictions or complain about what should be legal or what should be banned in this game. Because these are the same people that, when I'm on Dueling Network, they try to base intelligence and knowledge of the game on your wins and losses. Here's the thing about me, and this is directed strictly towards those people. On Dueling Network, I've had 66 rated duels. 22 of those duels I have won. The other 44 I have lost. Anytime I get into an argument or some type of debate with somebody on whether or not a card should stay banned or whether or not this card deserves to be unlimited or not like that, the first thing they do is they go straight to my record. And they base their, whether or not they're going to listen to somebody who has a certain record or not, like a certain win-loss record or not, like they're pretty much just going to base it on that. And you miss out on a lot, because a person like me, and I know other people in the game think similar, we don't play this game for wins or losses, especially on things on a website like Dueling Network. That doesn't mean shit to us. Wins and losses don't mean shit to us. If it did, then I would be on there trying to get wins 24/7, being repetitive and boring and making a bunch of videos that people have already seen, of builds that people have already seen. It's just not worth watching. And when I first got on Dueling Network, that's all I've seen. At the time, it was very few decks that you seen being played, and it was the same thing over and over again, to the point where I was just like, you know what? I don't care about the wins and losses, but what I do care about is learning more about the game. I can't learn more about the game when I keep going up against the exact same thing over and over and over again. It gets boring. And then when I started YuGiOh101 Fan Day, I really didn't want to bother with wins then, because when you look at all the duels that they have on YouTube and videos and such, every time you look at them, people are playing the exact same shit. If I see one video, or like 100 videos per se, of of things like Elemental Hero builds, I'm not gonna bother with playing an Elemental Hero build, because it gets boring. Like, damn, will somebody please play something else? Like, I'm interested in seeing what else is available in Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what I mean? It's that feeling of, I don't want to see this anymore. And when you come to my videos for like Fan Day or any other duels that I do, you get that unique experience that you don't get, or like you get those unique moments with builds that I make from my own two hands and with my own thoughts. I don't even bother with net decking. I never bothered with net decking. And if you're going to base somebody's intelligence on whether or not they have this many wins or this many losses, then you're going to miss out on a lot of shit. And that's the case in point with Stratos, because these be the same people that sit there and bitch about why are the adults dragon rulers, why are they banned? I mean, you know what I'm saying, like, why are they limited? Why can't they be maxed out? To understand why a card is banned, or why cards get banned, you have to look at the monster effect, its summoning requirements, and whether or not is it doing too much for the era that it's in. And Elemental Hero Stratos does too much for the era that it is in. It is a level 4 monster. Now, if Elemental Hero Stratos was like a level 6 or a level 7, then it would have been like semi-limited or even limited, because it would take more effort to get it on the field at that point. But for a level 4, you can just use your one normal summon and get it on the field, and that does so much as it is. On top of the fact that the Elemental Heroes have, you know, three um, three emergency calls. Then you look at general, some general monster support and reinforcements of the army. You know, that's for warrior type monsters, and and pretty much all elemental heroes are warrior type monsters, so they can use that. And then you throw Stratos in the mix. I mean, come on, like that's a lot for the archetype. So no, it was doing too much for a level 4, and it does not need to make a return. Now, that's based on the common sense of competition. Again, it's two different things. You have the common sense of competition, and then you have the common sense of business. And in the OCG, if I'm not mistaken, Stratos is limited, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a structure deck called Hero Strike that was released on June 21st, which was a couple weeks ago. June 21st, yeah, which was a couple weeks ago. And in the structure deck, as you can see, Stratos is listed as one of the monsters in the structure. So, because it's in the OCG, Stratos is, you know, available to use. Now, this structure deck does not have a TCG release date. It's not one set. Now, they probably bring like the new Elemental Hero monsters in like some hidden arsenal or some type of booster pack such as that, but there isn't a reason why Stratos should be unbanned right now, just for the simple fact that it does too much. Now, who's to say that, you know, if this structure deck comes to the United States, or when it comes to the TCG, I should say, you know, if Stratos is listed as a monster in the structure deck for the TCG, then maybe they will bring it back, because I don't understand why they would put a banned monster in a structure deck when you can't use it. You know, like when you buy a structure deck, you want to be able to use all the monsters within the structure, and I think it would be stupid for them to do that. So I don't see the common sense in that. But if it does come to the TCG, then maybe we will see it make a return. But just based on the common sense of competition, it doesn't need to come back. It doesn't need to make a return. It does too much for the level that it is. Again, if it was level 6 or level 7, then maybe, you know, it would have got limited, or it would have got even as much as semi-limited. But it does too much for the level that it's at. Now, maybe they'll make some type of reincarnation, and, you know, they'll fix that problem. But until then, no, Stratos doesn't need to come back. You know, and for these people that based intelligence, that bases intelligence and experience of the game, you know, based on win and loss records on sites like Dueling Network and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, I've been playing this game since 2002. So obviously, I better know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know, I better know a little something. I know everything from the basics to the advanced tactics. So there's nothing that you can tell me. I've been in debates with people that claim that they know it all when all they use is net decks. You know what I mean? And they don't understand the little things. And then you go up against people that honestly think that you can chain mirror force, monster effects like Utopia to mirror force and dimensional prison, and think that the attack is going to stop, so that's not going to do anything now. Like stupid shit. You got people that think that tribute summons and normal summons are not in the same category. You have people that think that you can chain things like Solemn Warning to MST. This is the shit that I have to deal with. And to all my viewers, you've seen my YuGiOh101 fan day videos. You've clearly seen this stuff happen. I'm not making this up. So it's on video. You know, you guys can go back as far as 2013. and see videos of fan days back then when I was running into stupid shit like that. But you know, if you leave it up to these people that are bitching as to why Stratos isn't back into the game, these will be the people that would put the Dragon Rulers unlimited. Hell, if it was up to these people, they would bring Trishula back into the damn game. Hell, if it was up to them, the fucking wind-up loop and the Inzector loop would still be active. If it was up to them, fucking um, let, shit. Well, let me see. Shit, if it was up to them, uh, fucking Substitute would be back into the game. Um, Substitute, Dark Strike Fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you name it. Uh, Even cards like Chaos Emperor Dragon. As overpowered as all those fucking strategies and loops were, they would have brought all that shit back into the game. The one thing that people do, or these people, when they make these predictions or suggestions, is that they never look at the reason why the card was banned in the first place, and they put so much of so much of like a personal like or dislike on the card that they want to see it back or not see it back. You know, that they just clearly eliminate the reasons why these actions were taken against the card. So they end up making stupid reasons like, oh, I just want to see it back. Or like they just don't give a reason. Like, why Stratos doesn't come back? Why isn't Stratos back in the game? Stratos should have came back in the game. Why? And based on my experience, like, what do you mean why? What's your win and loss record? Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Stratos should have been back in the game. Well, damn. So you don't really have a reason as to why Stratos is going to be back. You just want to see it back in the game just because. Based on competition, Stratos should not be back in the game. It should not make a return. But who's to say that Konami won't, bring that structure deck to the TCG and not have Stratos in the card list? And if that's the case, why have a banned card in the structure deck? Either take it out or, mind you, this is all based on the possibility that Stratos is, this is all based on the possibility that the Hero Strike structure is going to come to the TCG. So if it comes and Stratos is listed, then we may see it make a return. Until then, it's no reason to bring it back. It really isn't. It does too much for a level 4. That's pretty much the reason why it's banned, and it's not coming back for the time being, at least. So, question answered. The debates can stop. All you motherfuckers that's mad that Judgment Dragon didn't get touched, Judgment Dragon doesn't do shit these days. It really doesn't. It's a different era in Yu-Gi-Oh, so it wasn't no reason to keep the card limited and semi-limited. It wasn't no reason to have the card to have any limitations on it. The Light Sworns, they only have one strategy, is to dump as many Light Sworns in the graveyard so that you can get Judgment Dragon out. And too many cards are in the game to stop Judgment Dragon, so Judgment Dragon is not a threat anymore to where it needs limitations on it. So quit feeling salty about that shit. And I'm gonna get up on out of here. Peace.